so we've got a lot to cover today. So there's an agenda in front of you. And I just want to point out before we get started, you should have a meeting agenda or discussion agenda on your table. We also have up here, some handouts that you're welcome to take one. One is the scholarship that we awarded $3,500 this year, which is great. It's the press release. Thank you, Shannon. It's the press release. This is Sharon's system. She usually sings.
I'm a lot louder than her.
I'm not going to sing. I will not sing.
Guarantee you.
Thank you. So on the table up here, we've got handouts, and there's, I wanted to point two really important ones out, and one is the draft of the kiosk that has been worked on by Julie Howard for so long. It looks simple, but Craig and I did it last year, and it is a pain in the rear to do and takes forever. I do want everyone, it's a draft, we're ready to go print the banner and put it up in the kiosk. It's over by the Pink Sisters. But there are a few links that I think are not quite working yet, so if everyone could check their contact information on it, and then we'll correct the QR code that takes people to the information also. And that was Julie's brilliant idea to put QR codes on it, which is great. And I think will really help people. We're trying to be more iPhone or phone friendly. Contemporary, yes. Julie spent a lot of time, and I wish you were here because we wanted to clap for her because it's a lot of work. And she stepped right up and wanted to do it, and that's great. So as soon as we get feedback from the members, if there's anything incorrect, we'll correct it. And then we'll print the banner, and we can, if we get feedback immediately, we can have the banner up tomorrow. Kathy, do you want to say something?
A deadline? You want us to give you feedback?
Yes, if you could give it to us this week, because we really want to get the banners or the kiosk print installed. We installed it last year in September, which was the first time we tried to do this, because it took so long. And we were hoping this year to be a little faster, but it just kind of didn't work out that way. And thank goodness for Julie that helped us get where we are today. So if you could let us know, please do. The other thing I wanted to point out up here is we have a scrolling screen of the website. We have been, we hired, just me. Carol, will you please tell David that his tomato sauce is so hot. My nose is running and I keep having to drink water. Please tell him. It's good, but it's hot. Anyway, the rolling screen up here is the new website. The board decided earlier in the year that we needed to not continue using the old website because it, again, is old-fashioned and is not phone-friendly. And so we hired Rob Lindsay, who has been reconstructing a new website, which takes a little time, unfortunately, but we have a plan where we're going to do a phased transition into the new website, and it's ready to go live with the first part. So the first part is going to be, because we know all the members want their information out there, so we're going to do the homepage and the member page and go live with that. And then we'll keep incrementally adding different sections to it so we get a full website up and running. Anyway, so if you get a chance, come up here after we get finished with the meeting and take a look at it and look at your business photos on there. Okay, so just wanted to welcome everyone. It's great to see everyone gathered, and we're happy to have it at this beautiful location. Thank you again, Tim and Carolyn. Kathy, to the members here, could you give just a brief idea, she has a report for you to pick up, but of the number of members and.
We are 73 members strong. That is the most we've ever had. Thank God. I don't remember how much we had before that. That's 53 business members and 20 individual members who have paid in dues $5,260. But that does include, can you hear me? Huh. But that does include some signs. So it's because I think 10 members bought signs, and that included some monies for their signs. We have not had any new applications since September. The membership drive normally starts October 1st, and it's the same address that you've always had, except it says 2023 membership rather than 2022, and that would be Sharon. You have the rest, that report, that little one-page report I gave you also has the status of deliverables, the Cedar Post project, and the marketing members, and that's stats from Facebook and Instagram. And just a real quick look, we're at 16,000 followers on Facebook. Our reach is 16,000 followers. In the back, it gives you the budget of Facebook ads for the last 2 months. Is that enough?
Thank you, Kathy. And we owe Kathy a great thank you for her membership drive, because we are where we are with members because of Kathy. So thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
I would like to just comment on one thing she said about the membership drive. One of the things that escalates into the kiosk and being able to promote members is we get a trickle of memberships in the first quarter and really until probably June. And so we want to make sure we're including everyone, but that keeps us from getting it. Yes, Kathy.
Starting it in October, though, I think last year, by the December annual meeting, I think we had about 45 members. So people joined early. So
That's
that
great.
helps.
So keep that in mind, guys, for your reapplication. Okay, so I was hoping that maybe we could go around the room. Hopefully everyone can hear, and everyone introduce themselves and say what their business is so we can all get to know each other. James, you want to start up here in the front? You should sit in the front.
I'd just like to. Most people do not have trouble hearing me. James Wilhite with Mariposa Cattle.
Carol Riedel, the Dan Beer Store, Potter Browns, and I'm also the secretary for the board.
Blue Moon Gardens, the Beauty Nursery, and between Edom and Chandler, Adriana Sierra.
I'm Monty O'Neill, I'm just a supportive resident.
Georgia Christensen. I have a company called GLC & Co Design. I do interior design and graphic design.
Beth Brown, Edom Craft Community and director of the Edom Art Festival.
Beth, could you please tell us about the festival? Remind everyone of the date and how it's going, how many artists you have?
Yeah, we have about 60 artists. We're all ready to go. We'll start setting up on Monday, and yeah, it's going to be great. I have some posters over here in the basket if anybody needs posters to put up in their businesses. It's a little late right now, but you know, it'll help, I suppose. So there's that, and we're good to go.
And it's the 50th anniversary.
50th year.
Woohoo! And Beth has been such a fabulous person in continuing with the festival and getting it to happen. It's a huge job, and we thank you. The town thanks you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Shannon.
Introduce yourself.
Hello. Shanna Wiggins, Hip Horticulture, All Cities USA Realty, and yeah, that's it.
On the board.
Yeah, I'm on the board. Yeah. Board member.
I'm Tony Wiggins, Shanna's other half, supporter,
strong back and weak mind.
Next.
Sorry. Sandra Stayback, supportive and member of the board.
Lena Curtis, First State Bank in Edom. Been over with.
I'm Kaylee of Yan Lettering. I'm the pastor at the Edom Methodist Church.
Also a member.
Yeah, we're really good. Okay, Scarlett Manikas, I'm a musician and I'm also a member.
Don Hendrickson, co-owner of the Experience in Edom.
Kelly Holmes, owner of the Experience in Edom.
Barbara Crow, Mayor of Edom.
Thank you for being here.
Lauren Harrell, Lauren Productions.
Randy Martin, local artist, and I'm on the board.
Sherry Martin, supporter of Edom.
Victoria Tankersley, Tankersley Real Estate. I get to sell property in this beautiful area. Love it here.
David Cantrell, I'm a brand new resident. I've just been here a year, and I'm an artist and designer.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm Jeff Basor. I'm an architect and co-owner of Dragon Head Retreat.
And I'm Kathy Holloway, and I follow him around. I'm married. I'm also co-owner of Dragon Head Retreat and original 2004 member with the nonprofit called A Circle of Time, which we teach people to write grants and work together.
Our wonderful members, and thank you for being here also.
I'm Cindy Cunningham at Bringate Minor Dinner in Tasting Room.
I'm April Miller. I just live in Edom. I'm also about here.
But she helps make it happen.
Yes, I do. I like just coming to the meetings. Watch out. Know what's going on. I'm Lynn Warren. I'm a volunteer. I do a lot of the free help, and I have the strong back and the weak mind. I'm opposite of you.
Good evening. My name is Black Mon, architect, photographer, sculptor. Thank you.
Board member.
I'm KT. I own the Thistle Room located inside the Experience.
I'm DJ Warren, and I run the local Forge Farmers Market as well as the Athens teaching title.
Mary Williams, I'm a new resident in this area.
Welcome.
Dale Williams, we've been here about a year. We don't run anything.
Aren't you lucky?
Yeah. And you guys are individual members. And you're individual members. Yeah.
Tim West, new member.
Weren't you the original president of the eacc?
We're glad to have everybody here.
Thank you, Tim.
My wife Carol.
Sharon, are you hiding?
Sharon Walker, I'm just a writer of songs.
And you're on the board.
She's on the board, and she also provided the sound system. Thank you, Sharon. Okay, so we've got a lot to cover tonight. Oh, sorry. Linda, through in the back. Can you introduce yourself?
No, I'm Carolyn's sister. I'm April York, Carolyn's daughter.
And that's my granddaughter, Hensley.
Hi, Hensley.
She's hanging out with Glenda, her granny. She calls her. Her granny. She does. She lets me watch her granny.
Okay, so, before we get started, I just wanted to offer condolences to Carly and her son for the loss of their partner. It was a very untimely situation, and we're very sad. I'm sorry, but I don't know how to pronounce her last name.
Can you speak louder?
I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Don, can you help?
Delisandro.
Kelly and Joe Delisandro. Kelly passed away last week, and very untimely. We're really sorry for your loss. The are your partners, and for Kelly, who was going to be a shining star. And I hope Joe will find it at some point to be able to continue. I'm sorry, there were new members, and so we lost a member. That's very sad. Okay, so we don't have a PowerPoint tonight because this has not been a very good week for technology for this group. So before you should be a written agenda of what we're going to discuss. So we went low tech. Sorry, David. We went low tech, and does everyone have a copy?
The discussion agenda?
Yes, the discussion agenda. And there, actually, the low tech is one reason, but also PowerPoints put people to sleep. And there are some documents in here that I'd really like everyone to take home with them and look at, because this is a tight agenda. This is a tight agenda today, so we're not going to have time, unfortunately, to have too much discussion on anything. So we're going to plan another member meeting that will be more of an open forum where we can take a couple of documents and I'm going to point out when we go through it and be able to talk about it in more detail. Like for instance, on the tourism, we initially had Tim willing to talk to us about some of the things that will go on the tourism, but there's just time on the agenda. Okay, so if I could ask you to kind of follow along here. The first part, there are documents we received. When we last met in April, we said that we would probably be late with this meeting because we were waiting on the state tourism final report that came in May, and we recently got it, and we wanted to have time for the board to really analyze it and go through it and come up with some points to talk to you guys about tonight. It's a 137-page document. We'll send links if anybody wants to. Yes, Kathy?
They have the link in the Facebook event. The link is there to the Google Drive where we upload.
Okay, great. So the first document that is in the packet is key takeaways, and P.A. Getty and David Teal, here with the Van Zandt Arts and Cultural District, who are trying to develop a countywide tourism location, spearheaded that, and the chamber supported them. These key takeaways, they took a 136-page document and summed it up. And I'm not going to read it to you or anything, but essentially we're in a great place. There's lots of tourism, and this gives the facts about the tourism here. And one of the things that the group identified was that we really need to consider trying to pursue a hotel and occupancy tax in the county so that that money can fund the tourism director, because the individual like Ben Wheeler and especially Eden, I don't know about Dan, it's probably in a better position than we are. We're relying on volunteers, and the whole tourism effort needs to be a lot stronger, in their opinion, to be able to get the reach that we want, that hot sauce, get the reach that we want. So that became apparent through the tourism that we probably need to work on that, but it's going to take a while to happen. So we're going to have to figure out a way to go in between. And there's some detail on what they recommend about that. And they also say we need to engage on the website. All the cities do, and that's what we're working on right now. And then this was the thing that we were waiting for to make enough progress on the website and a lot of our promotional materials. We were waiting for them to tell us whether they thought we should brand as a group or brand individually as a community. And they came back with that they thought we should brand individually, but there would be some opportunities for us to also go together like there's some other opportunities that we can pursue together. But for right now, we as Eden Chamber of Commerce just need to proceed with branding our own community and cooperating with other communities with branding. And then they also commented on the signage that on I-20 that we need to work on that some. And then they also mentioned that we need a very cohesive community. And Barbara, I thank you for being here, because that was one of the things they said, is if the chamber and the city could work together, we could be stronger, which I think is great. And I think you're more willing to do that. And also getting elected officials involved. And we have, although he's retiring, we have a county representative in Tim West, and so we have a perfect opportunity to be more informed. And I'm hoping that our next meeting, Tim, that you might be willing to come when we have an open discussion about the hot tax issue, and kind of where your perspective on where we might want to go. So after that meeting, after we got the report, the board actually read all 136 pages, and the next document is what we identified as the priorities that we think is reasonable for a board our size and a community our size to pursue in the next year or two. And so we are, one of the things that they strongly recommended is a visitor center. And the chamber's been in discussion with the museum to partner. We don't have a formal agreement yet, but the board has voted in concept that yes, it's a good thing to do. And so I think that's kind of underway. This is something we haven't really started on too much of this. We were just doing that beforehand. The highway signage issue and wayfinding in the city we think is important. The thing that was the most amazing to me through that process was how important historical tourism is. And we have a lot of that here. I mean, look at where we're at. That we haven't really tried to emphasize or talk about much. And so that's an item that we want to really pursue. And then Jeff Gottesman, the old firehouse, has said that he's willing to let us use his corner walls as you enter from 279 from the west, and he would let us paint a mural on that that could welcome people to the city. And so that seemed like something that we could get to happen too. And thank you to Jeff, who's not here. And then we've all recognized for a while that we need some kind of an event calendar that we can publish statewide, which would also help without having a tourism director to get that going. So these are the things that we've identified, and one of the things we want to talk about, this is one of those documents I really want you to look at, because what we want to talk about at our next member meeting is who might be willing to help volunteer to be on the task force to work on these, and if you have any comments on whether we hit the right recommendations. Okay, so I want to thank some people that really helped to make the tourism visit successful. They were very complimentary. They liked the spirit of Eden, and in that 136-page document that you can see more comments on individual places as well as the town. They liked the attitude of the people in Eden, and the rising tide floats all boats was the thing they kept commenting on that they had heard. Beth was our tour guide through the city of Eden, so I want to thank the merchants who participated and got everything dusted and fluffed up the tour. And I also want to thank Shanna, who was our tour guide, and she was on the bus with them both days when they went to Ben Wheeler and when they went to Eden, and she heard all their comments, and I'd like to ask Shanna to come tell us what you heard, what your thoughts are.
When PA contacted me and said, I need you for a project, I thought, oh great, because I didn't have enough to do right already. And she said, this is a great opportunity for you. I want you to be under my wing. I'm going to show you what to do, and I want you to be the overall tour guide and help host the group from Austin. I have never had an experience since I moved back home that was so intense for 6 weeks and required concentration and just to be totally devoted to the game of it. And it was one of the better experiences that I've had since I've been here with leadership. And I really learned a lot. And I want to thank everyone that was part of this. There was so much inner working going on all of the time that a lot of people that were involved still didn't realize how much it took to pull it together. Someone approached us about the state tourism assessment, and we were like, we've already been working on that for 3 years in the works. So this was a long time coming. They did not do an assessment during COVID, and we were the first area that they chose once they got back rolling into the state assessment. So I feel like that we were very fortunate to be considered the first area right back out of COVID to take a look at. We had, 5 departments from the state come and evaluate us. We started at Van on the first day, Ben Wheeler on the second, Van and Ben Wheeler on the first day, and then Edom on the second. By the second day, we were all kind of, needing some kind of lift me up, because it was very physically exhausting and mentally exhausting just to stay with them and just be right in tune and make sure they did not miss anything and make sure that we did not miss anything. So it was really fun riding the bus, and I had a PA helped me come up with a script for both days, and I believe that we pulled it off successfully. One thing that I learned about that they kept saying to me is, you guys have to be true to your community. You can't take Edom and say, hey, let's be Little Austin, or Little Granbury, or Little this, or Little that. You have to brand Edom and stick with it. Don't try to be another town. And so that was one thing that was, has stuck with me all along. And so that was very potent words, because I think as creative people, we're always trying to come up with a better way or bring more businesses in and do this and do that, and it would be like bringing the Dollar General in and dropping it on the corner where the nips are. That would destroy our art community, and that would destroy what we're branding. So they were very adamant about, sticking with the brand and don't try to be another town. So Van Zandt County is not qualified for hotel hot tax right now. It does take going to our elected representatives, and it's going to be a long process. It's going to take a long time, but we are going in the right direction. There are 29 line items on the requirements in order to be considered for hot tax, and most of those are centered around amusement areas, around water areas. Like there's a lot of counties in the Gulf that are part of the hotel hot tax situation, and we just don't qualify for that. So what we have to do is we either have to, I don't know if we can get one of them amended to where Van Zandt County can fit into what they require, or we can go in on the line item and be number 30. But Tim can tell us more about that whenever he speaks. So we've got a ways to go for this, and it looks like we're going that direction. I want to encourage everybody to go to the link and look over our report. Like Jan said, it's 130 something pages. It's very lengthy. They take each area, break it down, and if you own a business, they probably mentioned you in it. Some of them they did get in, some of them they didn't. So you can see each one of them gave a report, and it's very lengthy, and then they gave key takeaways where it is a consolidation of what they thought, in a nutshell. So, one thing I can say about the area that they really were impressed with was when we took them to the Chief Bowles site. Most people that live around here don't even know about it, and that's pretty sad to me. And we made a quick trip down there, and they just walked down into that whole property, and they were just like, this is the most amazing thing. And what they said, this cannot be recreated. This cannot be recreated. And they told us that the number one thing that people travel to do is learn about history in an area that they go to. So we may be looking at doing some things with Eagle One to support their efforts out at Chief Bowles, but that's just one thing that they commented on. The Chief Bowles Memorial. And if you don't know about it, read about it. It's very, very, it's amazing, it's interesting, and like I said, it's very sad, but it is history, and we don't want to erase that, and it's such a gem to the area that most people don't know about.
And beautiful wildflowers grow out there too.
Yes, it's great. Another thing that they talked about, they asked a lot of intimate questions, and I had to be kind of careful how I answered their questions, but still give them the information. And they were very, very open. We have one of the representatives that came from Austin actually lived in Mineola, and he had just bought a place in Mineola and said, I wish I would have considered here, not where I bought it. Yeah, so Geraldine, is his name Geraldine? Geraldine or Dean Gerald, something like that. So anyway, we were proud to have them here. They really enjoyed it, and all of them said before they went back home, they were going to come back and just visit. So everybody that had an effort in the state tourism assessment, it was a great success. We have a lot to build on, and we have a lot of work to do, so thank you guys.
Okay, can you hear me? So, just one side note on this, I forgot to say in the beginning when I was talking about the merchants, but Green Goat also hosted the luncheon that we had on for Edom, and thank you very much. And James and Mary Wilhite were sponsoring the event, so we thank you both for doing that. Okay, so we will talk about this more at our in an open discussion at the next member meeting. I wanted to transition a little bit because we weren't able to talk much about business other than the tourism because we were so consumed last April. So wanted to take you guys on a little bit of a trip through this last year and bring you up to speed on what we've been doing. The very next handout is a handout from Don Gier's president or the board in 2021 came up with a 10-year vision for Edom and the mission statement. And if you look at it, well, so he handed this to us, and that's great. And thank you, Don, for getting that to happen. So when the board first started, the 2022 board first started getting together, we looked at this as a reference and thought, okay, so what does that mean in terms of our board and how we're structured and how are we meeting this mission statement? And it made us think about a lot of different things than what we've typically done in the past. If you go to the next page, at the same time, I was new as the chair. I'd only been on the board for 1 year. And this was just like my outside perspective that I gave to the end of January. We voted the officers in January. And so we met at the end of January to start talking about what we want to do as a board. And this was kind of the companion document with the mission statement. And most of the stuff, as you'll notice, is pretty operational and how we function as a board. But there's one statement on here where one of my favorite sayings is, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. The Mad Hatter. So there's one statement on here about how we needed to really get an action plan and a game plan for 2022. So we chose to focus on that first and address how to make the board mission-based, based on the mission that Don's group came up with. So if you flip one more page, we started in February trying to look at how to reconcile how we were operating with where we wanted to go in the mission statement. And so we started working on developing an action plan for the board. And if you go to the next page, you don't need to read any of these closely unless you want to. The next page is where we started looking at the structure of the board. And based on the mission statement, we started trying to develop a mission-based structure as opposed to how we had been structured. And so we identified, based on the mission statement, it said things that we weren't really addressing very well. And so we identified 4 different areas. Tourism, because that's what the mission statement promises, that we'll bring more people onto the street. Membership, which we've always had, but we felt like there's some different things we could possibly be doing. And fundraising. We didn't have anyone focusing on fundraising other than Kathy, who was getting membership. We hadn't really looked at other vehicles and other ways to bring funds in to do these projects that we want to do, and especially these ones that come out of tourism. And then events. So how to focus on a new spring event, which we've got in the works. And we also need to do a better job of getting volunteers to help and getting them interested in helping. So this will be some things that we'll talk about too at the next meeting. And if you could look at it and think about some areas that you have an expertise in or just are interested in, and we'll talk about ways to get involved in the chamber. We've been kind of a little bit reclusive this year because we've been trying to rethink everything and kind of doing the brain work. And so we're now, I think, in a position where we're going to come out of our shell and start getting more people involved. And in terms of the things on that first sheet, the new chair's perspective, operational things, now that we've got the website going and the kiosk almost done, excuse me, thank you, Shannon, and the website almost done, we can start to look at these operational issues. And a lot of them just came from my perspective from being an exec and leading boards in the past, that we really need some policies and procedures that address things like how are we distributing information to the members, how are we being transparent and open. So we're going to start this last Tuesday, but we had another meeting, which was a great meeting. Thanks to Kathy. She brought, excuse me, thank you, David. She brought to the board a list of concerns of members. And we took it very seriously, and a lot of the things that the remedies, we talked about what the concerns are and what the remedies can be, and a lot of the remedies could be handled by, first of all, communications. That's always a tough thing, but also having policies and procedures on how we address or how we operate so that it's standard operation and everyone can know what we're trying to do, and we'll be working on that, and hopefully by the next member meeting in the next month or so, or two, either in November, we'll have a draft of those for everyone to look at and see if there's anything else they want to add to policies and procedures. Okay, so this is really Oh, I forgot to mention this earlier. One of the things that we're going to do on the website is have a member login where any member can go at any point in time, log in, and all the meeting minutes are there and all the important information. Hopefully we get that calendar of events going too, so everyone has the information. I think that's going to be really great and really helpful. Okay, so we had several members that have expressed an interest to be put on the agenda, and we want to make sure that we have time for everyone to do that. We don't want to keep the rest up till midnight, and I'm kind of notorious for having long meetings, and I don't want this to happen because I really like for everyone afterwards to have time to mingle and talk and meet each other. And there's still lots of salsa left, but beware of David's salsa. So, because it's a tight schedule for open meetings, you need to have a 3-minute slot. So we're offering the people that have requested a slot on the agenda to keep it within 3. And I think, Tony, are you going to be timekeeper? Okay, just so you can keep us all on track. And the first speaker is Don Hendrickson, and the topics are listed on your agenda. Would you like to speak, Don?
You have already pretty much taken my fire with the review from the city of Austin. So I have nothing more to say. I yield my time to the next speaker.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for caring enough to put your name on the agenda. Okay, Angela, could you come up here, please?
I can stand here.
We won't hear you loud.
Yeah,
I'm loud. I'd just like to say,
Angela, please, if you would.
Thank you, Angela.
Thank you, Angela.
You're always so right.
No, Brian.
All I would like to say is that I've lived in Edom for 7 years, and I decided to anyway.
It's okay.
Edom is small, but robust, and there's so much here for so many people, and I just hope that we can all, collaborate and cooperate and be an inclusive environment so everybody outside of Edom can benefit. That's all I have to say. Thank you, Andrew. We're going to spread germs. Yes. Okay, and the next speaker is Kathy.
I'm just gonna get up. Can I have Don's 3 minutes? Okay.
Tony's timing it.
I know, but I'm always. Okay. I do have a letter to give y'all that all this is written up in, but I just want to go ahead and just hit the highlights. Jeff and I have been members of the chamber since 2004, and the job always, the main point of the chamber was to market the members. That was the main point for 17 years, the first 17 years, and that was through having a website, Facebook. We started the Cedar Post program. We would have ribbon cuttings. Last year, the Blackmans did the kiosk, the big printout thing, but we had the kiosk. And then the main thing was printed materials. Jeff said that sometimes when he was either the president or the community liaison, he would sometimes mail out 5,000 to 10,000 brochures a year. Some Texas roadstop called and said, we want an envelope, can we have 500? He would pack them up and send them. In 2020 and 2021, we were really impacted by COVID. We didn't have in-person meetings, we didn't have ribbon cuttings. In 2021, we still had our heads down as far as getting together, but the vision and the mission statement work was amazing. The Texas Tourism Assessment this year was good. We already gave you the report on the marketing committee and having writing how membership and social media is doing. Our Instagram, our social, I said that. Okay, I said that. In January this year, the board made a decision not to invite members and non-members to the board meetings. It is not required in our bylaws that we invite people to the board meetings, but we always had. And that was a lot of times where new members people who didn't know us would come to the board meetings And our board meetings sometimes were heated, and this place has a lot of emotion, a lot of people who care, so we were never bored at those board meetings. But that's how people knew about us. And so we did not have the meetings open, and so people did not know what was going on. There was a decision made in January to reduce the budget and to reduce the social media budget by half. We spent $100 a month last year and $50 a month this year, and we're sticking to that. But the main decision that I was very concerned about was not to do printing. Members stopped calling me. They called me for several months and said, when am I going to be on the brochure? When are we going to get brochures? When am I going to be on the website? And some of these members joined in October of 2021, and we have not marketed them. And I turned my page over and lost my place. Okay. Members brought that concern in the spring that they weren't being marketed. In the late summer in September, about 20 people approached me, and they had serious concerns, and I wasn't sure what to do about those, and so I'm about out of time. The concerns are listed in the minutes. It was not following bylaws, lack of transparencies. That's my time is up. Should I stop? Okay. I will give you my letter so that you have it. But I do want to say that I am offering my letter of resignation tonight. I'm not willing to be part of this board that has so little regard for their responsibilities. I joined a member with 2 businesses. I paid $120 each, and we've not been marketed. We've not mailed any brochures to anybody. I would request my funds back. I'm willing to transfer all of the chamber's information to the secretary, wherever she is. And I can get with you and give you all that, give you all the passwords and get you all that. In closing, I do offer my apologies to the members that I recruited in 2022 because we did not market you. I do pledge to support you. I have never stopped sending our people who are our guests, people who come through I know. I send them to every single store in Edom. I do. I speak kindly. I am willing to seek other avenues for how to continue to support this area. And Edom is our home, and you'll always see us around. And I have appreciated the opportunity to serve you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And we're very sorry to learn that you're continuing the board. You've contributed a lot. And the marketing that you've done for members on Facebook has been fabulous. I can't imagine how much time it's taken you because the number of members that we have and trying to get them on Facebook is it's been amazing.
I work for the chamber from 5 a.m. to 6 or 7, so every morning.
Wow, what a thing to wake up to.
I really
hope you have a lot of coffee. I did want to address one thing that you said, Kathy, about the brochures. I know you were part of those discussions when we talked about that we felt like the tourism initiative and assessment was going to be so important that we really needed to understand what the brochure should focus on, whether it should focus on the Van Zandt Arts and Cultural District and have that as part of the brochure or be an Edom only. Now we have a very clear message from them to have it be an Edom only. So we are finishing up the Facebook, and Rob Lindsay is going to be using the information and all that he's learned and developing this brochure. There's no intention for us not to do a brochure, but as Kathy mentioned, we have been very short on funds this year. Something that I didn't really mention is that we've gone through a transition with the art festival and Beth and her nonprofit, where we've restructured how that's working. And so Beth and her group are operating the festival, and we have a memo of understanding that both boards agreed to, and Beth has been very generous in how she structured the agreement to where the chamber is able to still secure funds from the festival through the work that the chamber does to get donations. the difficulty this year financially is because this year, because we switched how we're working together, this year we don't have the revenue that used to flow through our books from the festival that we operated on through the year. We will get money, but it will be at the end of the year. So we've had 12 months of being in a tough situation, so we had to be very careful with our expenditures. And so we have no doubt that we'll be able to have those brochures ready to go at the first of the year. But there are two things that have been tough to deal with as a board, and one has been just trying to recognize financially how we have had to restructure this year. Next year we will be fine because we'll be back on a normal, not the same kind of normal, but the same kind of financial position going forward. So we'll be able to resume a lot of the boosting, and I know that really frustrated Kathy that not able to boost as much as we have in the past, but we just simply didn't want to run out of the money this year. That's what it really boils down to. And I acknowledge your comment, Kathy, about there's been lack of communication to the members, and that's one of the policies and procedures that we are going to be addressing. Like, for instance, when are the meeting minutes known? Oh, and I forgot to mention that we have a new secretary, Carol, and she is fabulous. She's the one that wrote these, exhaustive minutes. She finished at midnight last night from last week's meeting, and when we get the website up with the member login, those meetings will be, minutes will be posted so it's transparent and everyone can see it. And that was a big thing that came out of what you brought to the board last week, is that the chamber just needs to be more transparent and more communicative, and thank you for bringing that up. And once again, you made a big impact on the chamber, and thank you. So I'm glad to hear you're still doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so the next speaker, I believe Julie Howard is not here, is that right?
She is not, she's in Houston.
Oh, okay, so we'll have to hear from Julie sometime other. Okay, so Monty O'Neill is the next.
Not much with microphones, so I think I can do this. And look down at my notes.
3 minutes just flies by.
Oh, it's okay. I'm Monty O'Neill. I'm an art teacher, and I own a cabin down 279. I'm a recent member of the chamber and a big supporter of this area. I have been for almost 10 years. I was looking for a getaway. A friend pointed me towards Edom and Blue Moon Garden, and here we are going on 10 years. I hope to retire out here. I came to this meeting excited to hear about the state tourism assessment, and I wanted to speak because I have a little bit of experience in small town chambers of commerce. Now my experience is on the other side of Texas, and I thought it might translate to East Texas. One thing I've noticed about East Texas is we like our historic flags. Now, my other half's been calling and afraid y'all are going to take this badly. So this is not anything negative. That was not my deal. But I brought a flag that I thought was appropriate. There we go. We were saddened when we came out here to see the shops in Ben Wheeler that we also discovered all but disappear. The throngs of visitors went away. Everything exciting there almost disappeared. Fortunately, there's been a sense of community, creativity, music, and art that's centered around the forge. But the whole town vibrancy seemed to disappear when Mr. Carmelis died. I heard somebody once ask Sarah, who owns the forge, if she was worried about the new big entertainment venue down the way. And this was her reply: a rising tide lifts all ships. I've witnessed this same mindset work from afar since I left that little West Texas town where I served as an elected member of the Chamber of Commerce. You might have heard of this little place. It's always near the top of small towns to visit in Texas. We have in East Texas, there was division. They wanted to put my organization on the billboard. Judd's art was just weird. When I produced data to show our huge number of visitors, we finally made it on that billboard, right under the highest golf course in Texas. Not a good golf course, but same elevation as Denver. I helped found the Martha Lights Festival over 3 decades ago. And this was when that community finally began to realize that no matter what brought people to the town, everyone benefited. I hate to say it, but when my former boss passed away, as crotchety as he was, things got better for his legacy and the community. I've seen a lot of hard work put into Edom over the years by members of the chamber, from hanging banners, installing and emptying trash cans, and maintaining social media presence. There have been holiday events and assistance with the Edom Arts Festival, as well as Edom branded merchandise and some outstanding publicity materials. I've seen new businesses born, torches passed to new owners, and watched revered old places close and crumble. I know many businesses in town do their own thing, and that's okay. It's worked for some of them. That's what Shinati and Judd did for years. But working together is what made the change. And I think that's something we need to do. Edom is special. That and the wonderful creative people drew me here, made me want to make this my permanent home. I hope that with all I have, that Edom remains special as a whole, and let other people enjoy that. I leave you with 2 words from the Brotherhood of Man and Rodney King. United we stand, divided we fall. Can't we all just get along?
Franklin. Truth is true.
Thank you, Lonnie. That was very good. Good reminder. And you may have said something that you shouldn't have said, Monty, about saying you helped found the Martha Lights Festival. We may have a place for you. Okay, so our last speaker is James Wilhite.
It's good to see all these faces, and you're just way too modest. Monty did a lot more than he lets on, and if you knew the half of what he did, you would know more. My wife and I have been part of the chamber almost since the beginning. Wilhite Landscape, Blue Moon Gardens, now that's been passed on to the new owner. My business has been passed on to the new owner, but we still have an interest in Edom, and we still have a good in it. I was on the board starting about 12 years ago. I was president for a while, treasurer for a while. And like many groups, you get into a rut, you get into a rhythm, and you just kind of make pace, and you keep dancing along. This current board has done more in the last 9 months, almost 10, than I have seen occur in this chamber in probably 12 years. Seriously. They have moved forward, they've gotten organized. Jan comes from a very, very long background of association direction. And I think we have a cohesive group that is doing a fantastic job. I just can't say enough about that. It is because of Jan and the group she's got. It just, sometimes you have the team that gets together, the right quarterback, the right center, the right catcher, and they win the state championship. What makes that? It's the team. It's not one individual. It just happens to be the right group at the right time. I moved on, and I shouldn't say moved on. I'm still part of the chamber. I decided that I didn't have enough things to do in retirement, so I took on the Historical Society. And between myself and Angela, we have convinced the chamber that that might be a spot they would be welcome. and be agreeable to share. So I think in the near future, you're going to see that space shared by the Chamber, by the Historical Society. The museum will be a visitor center and a draw, and hopefully we can have a little spot right downtown that is a focus that we look towards seeing. Again, my takeaway is I truly think this board has moved us forward way more than any of you might realize right now. And you look back in a couple of months and say, oh my, look what was accomplished. Good job.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you, James. First of all, thank you for bringing the opportunity to have a visitor center at the museum. That was one of the things that the tourism board kept saying, or the group kept saying, is you need to have a visitor center for your town. So this is a perfect opportunity, and the board has voted in concept yes. We're looking at the detailed points, and we're going to keep working to get this to happen. I also wanted to thank you for the comments about the board. One of the things that was in my new chair's perspective was how excited I was with the board being so enthusiastic and passionate about Edom, and that comes out at times, sometimes good, sometimes bad. It has been a little bit of a roller coaster ride where the board's been just hanging on to that bar to keep from being bucked out of the train going down the path, that we're trying as hard as we can. There are a lot of things we're not doing right. We recognize that. Excuse me. And want to correct it. And so we're working on your behalf. And I really thank everyone for coming. Yes, we're close to the end of our time, but we encourage everyone to continue to talk to each other and have some more to be aware of David's salsa. Wait, I have one more thing. Could I ask Shanna to come up and talk about what's going to happen in April?
So one of the things we've been working on diligently, and we've kind of gotten sidelined lately because we've had so many other things to work on. But we want to bring a festival back to Edom, and we voted on a date and a name. It's going to be the Edom Makers Market, and it's going to be April 22nd and 23rd. We're very excited about this because we feel like another festival will help bring people into town, and then that just generates more people throughout the year. So we are just in the processes of developing forms and media and advertising, and we had a photo shoot 2 weeks ago, and we don't have the photos to release yet, but it was all centered around hands, and our hands were photographed in a group of people, and we had people with paint on their hands and dirt on their hands, and just all kinds of representation of different things that we make and art and things like that. It was a beautiful photo shoot. I can't wait for you guys to see the photos. But we are just in the beginning stages of planning it, and we really kind of are running a little behind, honestly. But we are going to pick it back up and run full speed ahead. And we are going to use the Edom Makers Market as a fundraiser for the Chamber. We're asking businesses to donate your space for artist tents and maker tents. And when I say makers, I'm not just talking about crafts or anything like that. We're going to have culinary people, we're going to have soap makers, we're going to have candle makers, anything that is part of the homesteading movement that's going on right now. We're going to welcome that, and we are going to have a demonstration tent with people demonstrating what they do to make. So we're very excited about that. If you're a business and you're on the streetscape of Edom, please consider donating your space for funds to go back to the Chamber. If you have any questions, I'll visit with you in private about it. Well, Did you have a question,
When you say
Georgia?
space, what do you mean?
A tent space, like a
In
10 by
front?
10. Yeah, we
In
want
front.
to actually have a street fair. Is the direction that we're going.
Curate.
Yes.
Curated. Is this a juried event, or you let anybody in that wants to?
We are not going to let anybody in. We are not going to do anything that would be an import from China, where anything like that. No, we do have a long list of requirements, and we are very dedicated to keeping the quality of the work in Edom. So if that is a concern, yes, we are talking about this and going to protect the quality of what we want to do and how we represent our community. Let's see, anything else? Yeah, if you have any questions, just let me know. Like I said, we're in the beginning stages of it. I can tell you there's one business downtown that does not want to have the tents set up in the front of their buildings, but they are going to donate that money back. They're just going to pay for that space and donate that money back to the chamber. That way the front of their business is cleared up and there's no tents in front of it. So we're willing to do that too, but we have a space behind the log. I'm going to go ahead and talk about this. This was a spin-off, actually, of, well, it actually started before the state tourism assessment. A group of visionaries met, and we didn't take a big, what do you call it, monkey poll? What's that poll? Beast monkey?
Survey.
Survey
Survey
monkey.
monkey, yeah. Yeah, that one. We did not do anything like that. We didn't get out on the street with our pad and paper and ask people questions. You know, what do you think we need here in Edom? You know, all this kind of things that people do to gather information. No emails sent out. We just met and we met and we met and we met and we met and tried to decide maybe the next step for Edom. And what we decided to do, we thought there was too many empty buildings coming up, and that was just not looking good for the town. So Tony and I purchased the log house, the log cabin, and Chef Hobbles and his group came in and seamlessly opened up a restaurant. They're up and going. They're doing very well. And Tony and I are going to develop the backyard into an event venue. So we will also open that space up to tents as well for the spring festival. So we have a lot of space, and I understand one of the spring festivals way back when housed 130 artists or tents or makers or whatever it was. We're not exactly sure how many we're going to welcome in. But we are going to be guarded, and we have a lot of space to use, more than we think we do for street. So, and we are getting a lot of support towards that. So we're very excited. And if anybody has any ideas, Randy's going to work on some things in the near future that's going to get us moving forward as far as forums to enter, and we've got, like I said, we've taken photos and we've got the media getting started. So we're getting ready to open it up for an artist call, and we're really excited about our fundraiser coming up. So I hope everybody will choose to be a part of that, and thank you all for all coming tonight. Thank you guys for bringing salsa. If you haven't had any salsa, please do before you leave. We still have wine, and we have bottled water over here in the cooler. So take your time, mingle, and have a good time. Enjoy.
Did everybody sign in, or anybody not sign in? Okay, let me sign in.
I didn't sign in. I don't think on the right sheet.
Sign it real quick. Thank you, Shannon, and we are excited about it.
I think I signed the wrong one. I signed the permission sheet. Oh, that did. Take it back. Thank you.
Be in the spring, because we have a wonderful fall event, and this will help us to raise the funds that we need to make those 1,000 copies of brochures. So if anybody has any ideas for makers, let Shannon know. I think we're concluded, and please stay. I'm sorry? Oh, yes, once, did we lose Carolyn? Thank you, Tim and Carolyn, for being here. I think Carolyn may be snoozing somewhere.
She's on the court.
Okay, thank you, Carolyn. And if you do go on the tour and want to, all you have to do is call Carolyn and she'll arrange a time for you to go. So, thanks for being here and enjoy.
Yeah, small world.